Fine. Good.
They're kind of pat.
That's good. Tu sobie do oczu.
I'll adjust it, thanks.
Huh?
I'll adjust it. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Gopi Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamunati Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunati Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamunati Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunati Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Sata Shishimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar Shivasari, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopanath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Vrindavandam Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai, Gaura Premananda, Hari Hari Bolo, all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are in the 10th canto on chapter 74 on text 49. So, Tato Nugyapya Rajanam Anichantam Apishvara Yayao Sa Bharya Samatya Swa Puram Devaki Sutaha Tatonudgyapya Rajanam Anichantam Apishvara Yayao Sabharya Samatya Swapuram Devaki Sutta Tatonudgyapya Rajanam Anichantam Apishvara Yayao Sabharya Samatya Swapuram Devaki Sutta Tatonudgyapya Rajanam Anichantam Apishvara Yayao Sabharya Samatya Swapuram Devaki Sutta. Devotees. Tatonudgyapya Anichantam Apishvara. Tata. Then Anugyapya, requesting leave. Rajanam, of the king. Anichanam, what did not want, who did not want it. Api, although. Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord. Yayao, went. Sabarya, with his wives. Saamatyaha, and with his ministers. Sva, to his own. Puram, city. Devaki Suttaha, the son of Devaki. Translation: Then the Lord, the son of Devaki, took the reluctant permission of the king and returned to his capital with his wives and ministers. So we can repeat. Then the Lord, the son of Devaki, took reluctant permission of the king and returned to his capital with his wives and ministers. So I'm going to read the commentaries by the Goswamis. Though he was supremely independent, Ishvaraha, he took permission to leave. He went with palanquins for the convenience of his mother, father, and others. Devaki Suttaha. And then that's Jiva Goswami. Sanatana Goswami shares, though he was supremely independent, Ishvaraha, he took permission to leave. He went to his city because he appeared as the son of Devaki to manifest qualities like affection for his devotees. Devaki Suttaha. Or he went to give pleasure to his parents. He was requested by his friends. Because he stayed a long time there, the other relatives had returned to Dvarka. That is made clear in the next chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:75-29. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the last couple of verses of this chapter, and then I'm going to kind of cohesively pull them together. It's like a little sandwich. There's, to me, there was like this beginning, middle, and end put together to feed us this wonderful Bhagavat Prasad of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So I'll just do 10:74:50 is Varnitam tarupakyanam ayate bahuvishtaram vaikunta vasinorgyana viprasapat punapuna. I have already described to you in detail the history of the two residents of Vaikunta who had to undergo repeated births in the material world because of being cursed by Brahmanas. Jiva Goswami shares, this verse concludes the story while indicating that Vaishnavas should not disrespect Brahmanas. In the 7th canto, Shukadev Goswami told this story in detail. Bahu Vishtaram modifies upakayanam or varnitam when Parikshit asked, even though there were inhabitants of Vaikunta, they had to undergo repeated births in the material world. Text 51. Rajasuya vabrityena snato raja yudhistiraha brahma kshatra sabhamadye shushubhe suraradiva. Purified in the final avabritya ritual, which marked the successful completion of the Rajasuya sacrifice, King Yudhisthira shone among the assembled Brahmanas and Kshatriyas like the king of the demigods himself. Jiva Goswami shares that out of enthusiasm, the bath is again praised. One should see the Mahabharata for details of the bathing and hairdressing of Yudhisthira and Draupadi performed by the Lord. And then 52. Ragya sabhyajita sarve suramana vakecharaha krishnam kratum chasang santa swadamani yayurmuda. The demigods, humans, and residents of intermediate heavens all properly honored the king, happily set off, honored by the king, happily set off for their respective domains while singing praises of Lord Krishna and the great sacrifice. Purport. According to Sridhar Swami, the term Kecharaha here refers to pramatas, mystic yogis who accompany Lord Shiva. Jiva Goswami shares that the devatas like Brahma, the humans such as the kings, and the Kecharas or Siddhas, after being honored, returned to their abodes. They sang the praises of Krishna. Yadharma sunar bhattarajasuye nirikshadrik swat yayanam triloka kartsnyena chadyeha katam vidatur arvakshritau kaushalam ityamanyata. At the Rajasuya sacrifice of Yudhisthira, all the people of the universe, seeing the form of the Lord, which created auspiciousness in all directions, considered that the skill of the Creator in making the most beautiful objects in the recent universe was nullified completely at that time. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:2-13. And then Yamartya Lilau Payiknam Swayoga Maya Balam Darshat Grihitam Vishmapanam Swasya Cha Saubhagardehe Param Padam Pushana Bhushanangam. Krishna possesses that form suitable for human pastimes to show the full capacity of his Yogamaya. That form astonishes even the Lord of Vaikuntha. It is the pinnacle of auspicious qualities and enhances the beauty of his ornaments. 3:2-12. They also praised the sacrifice because it became most remarkable by the presence of the Lord. All the righteous people thus pleased, whereas the wicked became agitated because of their sins. Sanatana Goswami shares that the devatas like Brahma, the humans, such as the kings and the Kecharas and Siddhas, after being honored, returned to their abodes. They praised Krishna, who attracted everyone's heart because of his affection for his devotees. Because of the sacrifice, he revealed in a special manner his form, qualities, pastimes, for the sacrifice was greater in qualities than performed by Varuna and other devatas mentioned in verse 13. And then 53. Duryodanam rite papam kalim kuru kali mayam yonasehe shriyam spitam dristva padussutasyatam. All were satisfied except sinful Duryodhana, the personification of the age of quarrel and the disease of the Kuru dynasty. He could not bear to see the flourishing opulence of the son of Pandu. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, Duryodhana by nature was very envious because of his sinful life, and he appeared in the dynasty of the Kurus as a chronic disease personified in order to destroy the whole family. Srila Sridhar Swami mentions that Duryodhana hated pure religious principles. Jiva Goswami shares that among the wicked, the chief person, Duryodhana, is described. He did not praise Krishna or the sacrifice, nor did he go home in bliss. Rather, he was overcome with lamentation, since he was sinful and since he could not tolerate the prosperity of Yudhisthira. Envy appeared because of competition with a brother, and because Yudhisthira was fixed in Dharma. And then finally, text 54. Yaidam kirtayed Vishnu karma chaidya vadadikam rajamoksham vittinam cha sarva papai pramuchyate. One who recites these activities of Lord Vishnu, including the killing of Shishupal, the deliverance of the kings, and the performance of the Rajasuya sacrifice, is freed from all sins. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur shares that he who glorifies the activities of Vishnu, the killing of Shishupal, the release of kings, and the sacrifice, Vittanam, will be freed of all sins. And then Jiva Goswami shares that Duryodhana and others grieved in spite of seeing Krishna directly, because they did not have devotion. All others however, have become happy because they had bhakti. That is expressed in this verse. Qualification is not necessary. one who recites the killing of Shishupal by Krishna, who spreads through the universe, Vishnu, by revealing his special glories, is freed from all obstacles to bhakti, adhikam, which means in the installation of Yudhisthira. And then Sanatana Goswami shares that Duryodhana and others grieved in spite of seeing Krishna because they did not have devotion. All others, however, became happy since they had bhakti. That is expressed in this verse. Or it is astonishing that Shishupal and Jarasandha attained liberation from Krishna directly. From hearing of their killing, one will attain the supreme destination by the power of the Lord. That is explained in this verse. Qualification is not necessary. One who recites the killing of Shishupal by Krishna, who spreads through the universe Vishnu by revealing his special glories, is freed of all sins, including parabdha sins. In a remarkable way, pramuchyate, he attains Vaikuntha, greater than liberation. Adhikam means, and the installation of Yudhisthira. Thus in the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 74th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Deliverance of Shishupal at the Rajasuya Sacrifice. So that's a lot of verses, but we can look at a couple of things that this packs. First, let me offer my respectful obeisances to my spiritual master. Om Jnana Timidandasya Gananjana Shalakya Chakshuru Militam Yena. So when I was looking at this, I was thinking of things, first of a couple of things, that you've got so many contrasting things going on here, right? And you've got, first of all, you've got Krishna, who is actually, according to etiquette, taking permission to leave. But then he also appeared on the other side of this to give affection for his devotees. And I was thinking how, you know, in text 50, it's talking about, I already have described to you in detail the history of these two residents of Vaikuntha, meaning Jai and Vijay, and having committed brahmanas. And so this etiquette is brought in giving us this hint. And then we're also talking about Duryodhana being not happy because he's not putting Krishna in the center. And you've got Jai and Vijay, who were cursed by the Brahmanas, the four Kumaras, and it giving very specifics that we should be very careful about our association. And it specifically mentions Brahmanas, but we're talking about the devotees as well. And of course, Jai and Vijay, you know, on one hand, and again, this is this contrast that I'm thinking of, this little sandwich that we're talking about, of how we have to be careful, you know, what our instructions are and what it means to take shelter of Krishna. Because in another sense, Jai and Vijay were also very much reciprocating with Lord Krishna's desire to perform his pastimes in very specific instances. And they appeared in, you know, many different ways to reciprocate with Krishna's desire. And that's ultimately what we're talking about, and what Duryodhana couldn't even get, you know, because he didn't have, and what it is that a living entity can't have when he doesn't have Krishna is, you know, this satisfaction, this happiness, and this joy, no matter what's happening. You know, because the Pandavas went through hell. You know, Draupadi went through hell of losing her own children, but still being tied to Krishna, seeing the bigger purpose behind everything. You know, there's still this innate joy of understanding that everything has a purpose and a reason, and it all becomes clear when it's tied to Krishna. And all of that is stimulated by Krishna's desire to want to reciprocate with his devotees, to want to have loving exchanges. You know, he obviously has his own desires to fulfill, you know, his different pastimes, but ultimately he wants to participate. He doesn't want to just sit up in heaven all by himself, discerning heaven, hell for everybody. He actually wants a relationship with every single living entity. And so we can understand, and Jiva Goswami emphasizes that yes, etiquette and respecting others is extremely important. And, you know, that we have to be really, you know, careful and thinking, and that yes, you know, we can get into this sense of false etiquette of thinking that we're elevated, but we inevitably will be, you know, subjected to reactions if we don't take into account our own actions and take into account our own, you know, being introspective in this relationship with the devotees and the etiquette that requires, right? And so if we go to 51, it's basically just kind of a descriptive verse. So we'll go to 2, and I was thinking about this too, of how it shows this is a very in-depth description that the Goswamis and the Acharyas share about this happiness of being connected to Krishna. And being, you know, in other words, we're looking at being careful, following etiquette, following all the rules, but at the same time understanding who Krishna is, why he's at the center, and what that will do for us in our devotional life by continuing to put Krishna in the center, to have this vision, you know, of not being offensive like Duryodhana, and not being miserable, and not being, you know, self-centered and self-absorbed and all these other things that can hinder our ability in having a relationship with Krishna and to experience pure joy. Not just for ourselves, because what that does, and I've said this many, many times, and I know you know that, but the deeper we go into Krishna consciousness, the deeper the joy is for ourselves, but the more compassion we have, and the more we want to share and bring that joy to other people, right? It's like this, it's uncontrollable, you know, the level of compassion that the pure devotees have. I want to go in a little bit to what Jiva Goswami is sharing about the praises of Krishna, because I think these verses are important. It mentioned 3:2:13 in the Srimad Bhagavatam and 3:2:12. So in the 13th chapter, in the 13th verse, it's the 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 13th verse. All the demigods from the upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhisthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily features of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings. There was nothing comparable to the bodily feature of Lord Krishna when he was present in the world. The most beautiful object in the material world may be compared to the blue lotus flower or the full moon in the sky, but even the lotus flower and the moon were defeated by the beauty of the bodily features of Lord Krishna, and this was certified by the demigods, the most beautiful living creatures in the universe. The demigods thought that Lord Krishna, like themselves, was also created by Lord Brahma, but in fact, Brahma was created by Lord Krishna. It was not within the power of Brahma to create the transcendental beauty of the Supreme Lord. No one is the creator of Krishna. Rather, he is the creator of everyone. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 10:8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarva pravartate. And I'm going to share this too, Bhagavad Gita 10:8, because I want to go into this a little bit deeper. When we're reading this and we're going into these descriptions, it's helping to remind us who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, and that sometimes we may get bewildered. Sometimes, you know, if we get some type of an elevated position or we get some kind of praise, we may think as you know, and tend to be pulled into this idea that maybe we are, you know, a little bit more beautiful or proud or more intelligence or strong, you know, we start to get that sense that maybe that's us. But all these things are to remind us that whatever it is that we have, what intelligence, what beauty, you know, what power, what position, whatever we have comes from Krishna. And the way to counteract that displacement of, you know, mental clarity about that is to always give credit back to the spiritual master and to Krishna. Every time you do something that has, you know, wow, that was an incredible solution to an incredible problem. Oh, wow, I solved that. I can't believe that. Instead, you go, oh, wow, Krishna, thank you so much for giving me that intelligence to be able to do that. You're amazing. You're awesome. Thank you for giving me that ability. You know, just take it always back to Krishna. And then you'll be happy, because when Krishna's satisfied, we're satisfied. Somehow in this material world, we get it flipped and we think that through our own endeavors and our own abilities, that if we just do this, if we just get that, you know, if we just have this, then, you know, we'll be perfectly satisfied. But constantly, as we take up devotional service, Krishna reminds us, no, my dear, most beloved devotee, I'm the one at the center, and I'm the one who, again, I say this all the time, if we do that, he becomes the great equalizer. And what I mean by the great equalizer is he takes away our pride, he takes away everybody's pride. You know, if you think about it, if the whole reason for giving everything to Krishna, seeing that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if all the living entities do that, then where are we all? We're all collectively in this place of serving him and serving each other without this pride that's in the way. He equalizes that. He equalizes, he neutralizes, you know, all the acidity and, you know, the misguided intelligence, and neutralizes it and brings everything into its proper balance. You know, it's just amazing. If we could only do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I wish, because I'm not there. But if we look at the 8th text of chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute, in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything. So we study the Vedas, we understand, we hear from all these great personalities and learn how to apply them, and then we understand everything. Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and the spiritual worlds, and because he knows this perfectly, he becomes fixed in his devotional service to the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. So all the Vedic literatures agree that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. And he goes on to cite, Prabhupada goes on to cite many different Upanishads and verses, but comes to this place of helping us understand again that we get locked in to our devotional service by becoming servants, by becoming humble servants, by realizing who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, and not letting our false ego and our little subtle desires get in the way, right? And so then Jiva Goswami also mentions this praise of Krishna, and this is important for us to continue to praise the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to continually remind us of who he is. And so in text 12 of the 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, the Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus his, Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. In conformity with the Vedic hymns, Nityanam, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitanam, the personality of Godhead is more excellent than all other living beings within all the universes in the material world. He is the chief of all living entities. No one can surpass him or be equal to him in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, or renunciation. When Lord Krishna was within the universe, he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a manner just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society in his Vaikuntha feature with 4 hands because that would not have been suitable for his pastimes. But in spite of his appearing as a human being, no one was or is equal to him in any respect in any of the 6 different opulences. Everyone is more or less proud of his opulence in this world, again, where we think we are. But when Lord Krishna was in human society, he excelled all his contemporaries within the universe. When the Lord's pastimes are visible to the human eye, they are called prakrita, and when they are not visible, they are called aprakrita. In fact, the Lord's pastimes never stop. Just as the sun never leaves the sky, the sun is always in its right orbit in the sky, but it is sometimes visible and sometimes not. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord are always current in one universe or another, and when Lord Krishna disappeared from the transcendental abode of Dwarka, it was simply a disappearance from the eyes of the people there. It should not be understood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for the pastimes in the mortal world, is any way inferior to his different expansions in the Vaikuntha. So it goes on to explain all these different things, but it keeps coming back to the super excellence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how we become happy is this total absorption in Krishna. And I've often wondered, about that, because in this material world, we're taught that happiness centers around us. And if I love Krishna, if I don't have my love, my soulmate in this material world, that somehow I'm incomplete. I've been taught that from childhood, and so there's times when mentally I'm thinking, why don't I have my soulmate? And then I'm constantly reminded, and then I think, well, Krishna's got everything he's need. Why does he need me? But then I keep coming back to what my spiritual master has said so many times, that if we please Krishna, and no matter who we are or how small we are, even a blade of grass, that we'll be supremely satisfied if Krishna's satisfied. It's the opposite of this world. We think that by obtaining things, by obtaining the one love, by obtaining, the one house, the one car, the one friend, the one position, or whatever it is, that we'll be happy, because we're in the center. And that's what the material world's, misconception is. Just so unbelievably different, and what we're being taught and what we're being trained as Vaishnavas is how to learn to love Krishna. Because when we do that, not only is he satisfied, but we, being watered by the root of satisfying him through our devotional service, will be satisfied in our hearts. But a lot of times we have doubts about those things. And so, in thinking about this and thinking about, Krishna being the center of everything, sometimes that mentality is so hard to give up. But then, we're being taught, and as again, I'm going back to this as like a little pocket of verses that looking at Duryodhana, because it says specifically that in text, let me see which verse it is, it's 53, that Duryodhana was a chronic disease personified in order to destroy the whole family, and that this was because of his sinful life, and he couldn't tolerate the prosperity of Yudhisthira, and envy appeared because of competition with a brother. So he's warning us through this, that among the wicked, the chief was Duryodhana, among the wicked mentality is to have this competition with our brothers, amongst each other, of having this envy, this envious competition to be superior to somebody else, and not allowing the glorification of other devotees because of their wonderful contributions to the Lord. It's so easy to become, competitive, to prove that we're better than somebody else, and that we have more ability, we have more knowledge, we're more of a pundit, because we can quote so many shlokas, but that's not what Krishna's looking for. He's not looking for that kind of, competitiveness. He's looking for compassion. He's looking for our love of him through our love to others. That's his whole purpose, is teaching us how to love him through loving others. They can't be extricated from each other. And so, as we go through this, and, for me, this was all thinking about how, here we see Lord Krishna, who's willing, in his position as the Supreme Personality, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, to follow etiquette and ask for permission to leave according to that etiquette. But then, his underlying motive is to, serve his devotees because he loves them. And his devotees love serving him. That's their main goal. And at the same time, that's certainly a lesson for us, but then, looking at what gets in the way. We have to be careful about what it is that can steer us off the devotional path. And the reason for this is, and it goes deeper into this, is that Jiva Goswami shares Duryodhana and others grieved. In spite of seeing Krishna, they grieved. And directly because they did not have devotion. And that and all the others, however, became happy since they all had bhakti. Right? I mean, that's the core essence of everything, is obtaining this bhakti, not being distracted by the false ego, or thinking that we need anything else other than Krishna. And at the core of that, loving relationship, respecting the etiquette and loving relationship between the devotees. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to the Association of Devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Jai. Thank you. Oh, yay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Namaham bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham. Namaham bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham. Namaham bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalaya Taksham Bharhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya
गोपीपरन धन मदन मनोहर कालिय दमन विधान अमल हरिनाम मिया विलासा अमल हरिनाम मिया विलासा विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बरा वंशी वदन सुवासा ब्रजजन पालन सुरकुल नाशन नंद गोदन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्करा सुंदर नंद गोपाला यमुना तटचर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिक कृप माया श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर भक्ति विनोदाश्रया भक्ति विनोदाश्रया यशोमती नंदन ब्रज बरो नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमती नंदन ब्रज बरो नागर गोकुल रंजन काना नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोलोकानंद राधे जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishame Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amani Namana Dana Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadaram Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishamevavam Buddha Krivayata Vabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrushim Vachintaya Nayanam Galashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahaneba Vishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishavam Padamritam Banastumam Adharshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Ananadastusa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your childhood birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me, the atoms, at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will the voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Shastra Ki Jai. Thank you, Mother Chaitanya, for addressing Shri Shri Radha Goloka Nanda so nicely. And as usual, we're having the wonderful flower show in the morning. And downstairs, I think we have a team of devotees cooking. I'm not sure who's there. And thank you, Mother Archana City, for a nice bhajan. And we had some guests here. I don't know what their names are, but we welcome them. Thank you. Okay. Oh, wow. Long trip. No. No, we're talking about, yeah. Someone else.